talking about earlier, Anthony, who were the guys that went out and purchased the 7D or the 5D, and then got all the trimmings and are out there trying to find the story, to show everything. They got the whole thing, but the iPhone mount. But the question that I guess I have for the three of you, right, and in each of your own respective worlds, like the young kid that is this videographer, who has the knack and the idea and wants to become this director, right? So for each of you individually, so he comes and sits down in your office to come and pitch you a script or a movie. He comes in your office to ask for representation, and then he comes to your office to be picked up by your agency now to be like the next director on your team. What advice one, do you have for them, and two, like, what would you be looking for in that person?
Well, I think for me, in bringing me an idea or a property or anything in that world, some sort of basis for an idea of a motion picture or a television show or even an HBO series or something like that. They'd say advice. The advice would be have a very which Anthony touched on, and so did Jordan. Have a very thick skin, okay, and be confident about your idea and believe on it, and be bulletproof, because that's what someone like myself, and I take it to my two colleagues in the industry to my left, are going to do, is to poke holes and see if it holds water, and you should have answers on all different fronts. You should think about it. You should think about it from a marketing angle. You should think about it from, why do people even want to see this type of movie? Why do people care? Who cares about this character? Who cares about this world? Why is it special to you? How would it equal more than just a bunch of pretty pictures? Does it have soul? Does it, all the different questions. How many different competing things are there like this out there already? Have you done the research? I think there's a misconception of this like golden idea, like, oh, I was in the bookstore, I found this idea, and look, I think this is going to be great. That's very rare. It's like winning the lottery, and so, like I said, the advice would be to know exactly what you love about it, why it speaks to you, and then look then change that perspective to the guy sitting in Nebraska who's 60 years old, and the girl sitting in Florida but not in Miami, like who's 14 years old, and why does it speak to her? Why does Twilight speak to why is Twilight the phenomenon that it is, or and those sort of things you just have to be ready to answer, and know that you have to pitch it to more than, and I hate that word pitch, but you have to talk to or try to sell that product to more than one person, because you're going to get a lot of no's, and that's where your thick skin. But it's going to take one person with resources to believe in it, to propel that idea forward. So you have to find that right door. I mean, it even happens with me nowadays. And often, sometimes we take a project to many different studios and potential buyers, and it's only going to take one, but you get a lot of rejections, and maybe it's because they have a competing product. Maybe it's because the star or lead you have in it, they want that star for a competing project, so they don't want to buy it, to compete with their own thing. There's so many different agendas, but if you stay strong, you keep moving forward. like the example that Jordan gave, you know, you got to work hard. It's not just that one picking up a book, oh, I found this, let's make that into a movie. It's a lot harder than that. And so that I think it might.